Here's Dan Shapiro to help you find your edge, master your process, and own your future.
Hey guys, good morning everybody. Welcome to another edition of the AccessToTrader.com weekend update show. Hope everybody is doing well. Hope everyone is having a wonderful extended weekend. Happy birthday, America, 250 years, and may God continue to bless us all. So hopefully everyone is doing well, enjoying this incredible summer weather. Guys, take a moment out, support the channel, click that like button. If you haven't done so already, first of all, thank you very much for spending a couple of minutes with us. And again, subscribe to the channel. And hopefully I will continue to point you in the right direction. So we're in this kind of weird dynamic, and we've been in this kind of weird dynamic for the last like 3-4 months. I think it's the best way of saying it. Number one, the semiconductor space, semiconductor / AI, they compile about 33% of the QQQs, right? 33% of the QQQs, and about a little bit less than half that on the S&P. So they have less weight on the S&P than the NASDAQ 100. So you can imagine when stocks like, the SanDisk of the world, the Microns, the AMDs, the Marvels, so forth and so on, were having this incredibly big run. Regardless what the rest of the market was doing, the NASDAQ was still putting really aggressive gains. And now you're having kind of the opposite effect, kind of the opposite dynamic. If you look what's happening in the market right now, we'll start off with the QQQs. The Qs have now held and tested successfully the 50-day moving average 3 times in the last 5 sessions. Okay, so 3 times in the last 5 sessions. Again, if you are brand new to technical analysis, the 50-day the 50-day moving average is the mother of all moving average as far as the perception of where a trend is going to end and a new trend is going to start. So the longer they defend the 50-day moving average, the higher probability the market trend continues. However, if you are brand new and you don't know the significance of the 50-day moving average, above the 50-day is super bullish, below the 50-day is super bearish. So right now, and we've been above the 50-day moving average since reclaiming it back on April the 8th. And you can see my point. The longer we stay above this blue line, this aqua line, the higher probability the market goes higher. But again, it's very important to understand. We did test the 50-day moving average 3 times in the last 5 sessions. Where this dynamic becomes very aggressive is when you look at the internals, right? The insider groups, what makes up the meat and potatoes of the NASDAQ 100. So let's start off with the haves, right? And these are stocks that have been running up very aggressively, making investors into wealth machines and ATM machines, whatever you want to call it. Is this storage AI semiconductors name, right? You have Micron. Micron had one of the best runs. Again, here's a perfect example of what happens if you get back above the 50-day moving average. Micron, since April the 8th, has gone from $416 all the way to 1250s, right? That's the whole point. But Micron in the last several days has gone heavy. There is something called a buyer strike, and the buyers started striking in the last week or so, and you can clearly see every single level that is deemed important. If you follow this channel, you kind of know the 5-day moving average is the shortest term sentiment, the 10-day moving average is the birth of the trade, the 20-day moving average is intermediate support, and now we tested all the way down to the 34 EMA. And again, this is not a warning sign for investors that the rally is over. This is just structural balance that we take into account day to day. Again, I'm not trying to sit here and pretend I know where the stock is going to be a year from now. I'm just trying to get ready and be prepared for tomorrow, literally tomorrow, on the previous day's data. And what's telling me, and again, we'll get to the pivots in a second, a very aggressive pivot on Friday to the downside of Micron. You could clearly see it stopped at the 34 EMA. 34 EMA, I've stumbled upon. I forgot who gave it to us a couple of years ago, but this is one of the purest and legitimate moving averages that I never used in my previous 25 years. And now I use it religiously. You see how it is held here, the 34 EMA? Guys, watch Micron on Monday. If this thing loses the 34 EMA, this thing can get hit. Look at SanDisk, right? Look at SanDisk as well. SanDisk, same thing as Micron, had a big rally. Buyers got tired. And they got, and they just got hit as well. And you go through the whole list. Doesn't make a difference what it is. AMD coming down, Qualcomm coming down, Teradyne in that same space coming down, Western Digital getting hit, STX getting hit, right? So when you look at the NASDAQ 100, you could clearly see why we tested the 50-day moving average now 3 out of the last 5 days. So the question is, what's holding up the market, right? Why didn't we just slice right through it? Well, number one, there's two dynamics going on here. Number one, Thursday, we were closed on Friday. Thursday was the end of the week. And with this weather, majority of, I can possibly imagine, majority of people took the day off. So there wasn't a lot of people who are protecting channels or protecting bids or whatever the case may be. They were in the Hamptons, they were in the Jersey Shore, they were in Europe, whatever the case may be. And we had a pretty nasty sell-off into the close. But here's my question, right? And this is a very, very valid question that we always ask in a shortened holiday session. If a tree falls in the forest and there's nobody around to see it fall, does it make a sound? So in layman's terms, if there was nobody defending prices on Friday, well, how can we deem Friday's action as credible? The scoreboard says it's credible. The scoreboard is telling us we are continuing to test the 50-day moving average, but it's very, very hard to get a definitive opinion. Usually I have a definitive opinion going into the next session. So I'm going to kind of give both sides the kind of the benefit of the doubt going into Monday. Having said that, if we do give up the 50-day moving average, let me give you guys 2 levels you have to watch if you are a short-term bull. Number one, 707, that is Friday's lows. Okay, you have 707. And then you have 702.80. So write this down, guys. 707 and 702.80s. Those are the levels that the bulls definitely do not want to see breached, because if they do start breaching those levels, we are going to start to go lower. And it's very, very important to understand that. But the rotation is back into the beaten up names. You guys remember the beaten up names that just got absolutely killed, just didn't participate in the last couple of months while these semiconductors and AI names were going crazy, right? Apple had a monster session, absolutely monster session on Friday. Again, one of our pivots on Friday, after getting absolutely killed since the start of June. You had some China data. Again, obviously Apple is a top 3 weighted average on the QQQ. So obviously that is going to save some face. You look at the software names, right? Software names have been getting absolutely destroyed for months now. Okay. It's been absolutely a bloodbath in the software space. But again, a little bit of pulse, right? You got Micron, nice 3-day rally toward the end of the week. You got CRM, right? CRM. And then CRM is one of the worst performing software names. Again, getting a little bit of a bounce. Oracle is literally lost I don't know, I'm not even getting a symbol. Oracle has literally lost 50% of its value since June. This is the one that's not rallying, which is very, very odd considering that the rest of the group kind of woke up. Adobe, right? Adobe, another stock that was absolutely left for dead, has gone from 275 to 195 literally in about a month's time, getting a nice little dead cat bounce as well. So you're getting flow back into Apple. You're getting flow back into some software names. Here's 2 names that I'm having a hard time just kind of wrapping my head around. The first one is Meta, right? So Meta has not participated in any type of rally for a very, very long time. I can make an argument and the data kind of backs it up. It hasn't done anything since the beginning of the year. It's January 29th. The stock was at $744. And we are back to 582 after being at 540 only 2 weeks ago. Earlier in the week, Bloomberg reported that Meta is building a cloud business to sell to its AI computing customers. The market obviously loved it, right? Loved that data, loved that news, and rallied the stock on Wednesday, only to destroy it on Friday. Again, it's one of those scenarios certain stocks at certain intervals of their careers cannot live with prosperity. You talk about a stock can't live with prosperity, right? So we had an incredible run on Tesla this week to the long side, right? We were talking about that 730, 732 range. My last runner, the highest sale I had was at 730, at 430 this week. 730 Freudian slip would have been great. Had a great run. Came out with their delivery numbers. The delivery numbers were absolutely fantastic. 25% year over year. The stock reclaimed back Monday, the 50-day moving average, reclaimed back Tuesday, the 200-day moving average. Had a really great run from 405 to 432. They came out with the delivery numbers and bam! One of the worst selling selling days I can remember in a very long time. Losing the 50-day, losing the 200-day, and losing the 5-day moving average in the process. And as much as I think Tesla's, again, I don't even think it's an opinion anymore. Tesla's the greatest trading stock on the planet. And the most ironic part is it doesn't have to be good or bad. It's just the greatest. It's a combination of liquidity, range, institutional money flows that makes it very unbelievable. But if you're an investor, my heart goes out to you, man. It's like going to the gym, right? Going to the gym and seeing somebody you knew from high school 40 years ago, right? And then you start talking, and you're like, well, how has it been with you? Are you married? Or, what do you do for a living? And the dude turns to you and goes, yeah, I'm still living at home. Working at McDonald's part-time. All right, nice to see you again. The first thing you think around is, loser. I don't want to quite say that to Tesla, but I do not want to say that as well. I'm not sure what's going on here, but Meta, Tesla, they just cannot rally, cannot live with prosperity no matter what good comes of it. They just can't hold on to a bid, which is very odd. Talk about another stock that never rallied in the last feels like forever is NVIDIA. NVIDIA just can't participate as well. So you're getting a lot of stocks definitely not participating, hence the 50-day moving average being touched 3 times in the last 5 days. You're getting a nice dead cat relief bounce on Microsoft. The software names, Apple for sure. You're getting names, for example, like Amazon. Can't really figure out if it wants to rally, if it wants to, a little dead cat bounce here. Google as well. Google, could, it's trying to get back above the 34-day EMA, but can't quite get there. SpaceX had a really nice run in the last 3 days. Until it takes out this linear regression line, it's going to be very tough to take it seriously. You got Robinhood, who's been a monster. Definitely one of the biggest surprises over the last couple of months. It's holding up while the market is selling. It's holding up while the market's rallying, regardless if it's, the theory of no pattern day trading rules, so more people are actively trading, or the Trump, what is it called? The Trump kid initiative, whatever the case may be. But the moral of the story is very strong continuation move on that. So again, semiconductors start the week on very poor technical levels. If they start losing their technical levels, last week's lows, you're going to see more downside. Let's see if the software stocks can continue, right? Let's see if the software stocks can continue to catch a bid, right? After months and months of selling. So let's talk about Friday's pivots. Some really two aggressive pivots on Friday. This is in the screen. Okay. So Friday, Micron, 1023 short. Why was 1023? That was below the 20-day moving average, and that was also losing the previous week's range. That's kind of my point of watch the semiconductors to the previous week's range. And here it was Micron, right? 1023 was the 20-day moving average, which is on June the 29th. So it lost the 1023, it lost the 991, it traded all the way down to 950. Yeah, that's the pivot, guys. That's the line in the sand for this week. If Micron starts losing 950, you could get another 100-point move to the downside. Great job for all you guys who caught Micron. Tesla, just never got there, right? Never got there. 432.86, 438 pre-market highs for initial 440 push, just never got there. Absolute failure. Again, I don't want to call it a loser, but well, it is what it is. Google, not a big move, but Google did have a pop. 364 needs to build. Here was Google before reversing. Took out 64, traded up to, literally got rejected at 64. Sorry, didn't even do anything. I didn't trade, as you can imagine, I didn't trade into Google. Microsoft, right? Microsoft, the continuation of the bounce with the semiconductors, 388.83. Here it was Microsoft, right? Took out 388.83, which is a 20-day moving average. Still has continuation, traded up to like 92. Still has room to about 94, which is the 34 EMA before you have some intermediate supply zones coming up. So keep an eye on Microsoft for more upside. And Apple. Apple was definitely the big one, 396.60. This reclaimed the 50-day moving average, right? So here's Apple, right? Confirmed the 396.50, which is the previous day, reclaimed the 50-day moving average and went absolutely out of its mind. Congratulations for all you guys who still have a runner. So let me give you guys quickly some ideas that I like for Monday. Let me give you guys some ideas. We talked about Micron. I'm definitely watching Micron below Friday's lows. That looks good. Look at RKLB. Look at RKLB. It's not imminent yet. You see how twice it got rejected off the 50-day moving average? Watch RKLB this week. If it could get back above the 50-day moving average, maybe this thing wakes up. So that looks really, really good. Keep an eye on any weakness on Apple for a potential dip buy. So if you could trap some shorts. Look, you got to watch Tesla to the downside. I mean, what are you going to do, right? You got to watch Tesla to the downside. I mean, what choice do you possibly have? It looks like crap, right? It's giving, it literally engulfed a full week's worth of buying on Thursday's session. Watch this thing below Friday's channels. And a couple of non-beta names, DHR, nice looking chart. DHR, nice looking chart here. Danaher, slower mover, nice cup and handle, looks really nice. And Paychex. Paychex NASDAQ 100 name, starting to bust out of a 2-month channel. So that's everybody. Hope everybody is doing well. If you are interested in pivots, guys, and you are joining us this week, again, all it takes is 30 days. It's pretty neat. Again, we're the only ones on the planet who trade in this fashion. And hopefully, with God's help, I will see you all on Monday. Take care, everyone. Have a great, great Sunday. Take care.